the last time. I can feel that burning deep inside. Gonna give it all I am. Gotta feel that power in my hands. Beat of the drums rushing through my skin.
The pride of the Northeast are starting to find their form after a difficult start to the season. Tonight they face a tough test against another of the BBL's heavyweights. With identical records so far, something's got to give.
Alley-oop and thrown in by Shelton. Nice pass, and what a jump! Oh, that's trademark Ramon Fletcher. Still going. Oh my goodness! Johnson hits the three.
We're live from the Virtue Motors Arena, home of the Newcastle Eagles, the most successful team in BBL history. Their visitors this evening, the Sheffield Sharks, no strangers to winning silverware themselves in their illustrious history. Very good evening to you. Welcome to Friday Night Basketball on Sky Sports, and an intriguing matchup between two big hitters in the BBL. And speaking of BBL big hitters, Drew Lasker, Kieran Achara, as ever, alongside. Very good evening to you. I thought you'd like that, Kieran. I thought you'd like that. We'll get into our game in just a moment, but we've got to lead off tonight's show with Team GB's massive win on this very court last night against Greece, and they did it the hard way, didn't they, Kieran?
They definitely did, but it was such an enjoyable game. So proud of the guys. Incredible win in a packed out arena in Newcastle. Great for British basketball.
It was a brilliant all-round team performance, but one man, Drew Lasker, stood out in particular. Teddy Okorafor, Teddy O, making his 50th consecutive appearance for Team GB. 19 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. I mean, I could go on here. He seemed to do everything.
Yeah, Teddy O brought out the full arsenal last night, and his game in European basketball gives you a true reflection of what he can actually be, because he fits that style of basketball.
Their first win over Greece since 1984. How significant a victory is it, Kieran?
It was huge. You know, the number 10 team in the world. You know, Greece are a powerhouse in basketball, and it just shows you the strides that Great Britain basketball has been making.
On to Turkey on Sunday. Best of luck, Team GB, with that one. On to tonight's game. And the Sheffield Sharks, the team you know all too well. Plenty of tussles against them over the years. They never make it easy, do they?
It always seemed like every time we played them, there was something on the line. And there wasn't a game I can remember waking up and not feeling sore. A lot of that had to do with Mike Tuck's pushing the back and elbows. So the Eagle boys, they better watch out for them tonight.
Mike Tuck, unsurprisingly involved in that. We saw Newcastle at the start of the season, our first live game, and they were blown away, frankly, which surprised us given it's a team with such an illustrious history of winning. But things have been moving in the right direction since, haven't they?
Yeah, with Ian McLeod's system, he just needs time. Fletch, Duke Shelton got in late, and then they had the injuries and then COVID, and now you're starting to see them get a little bit healthy, and now you're starting to see the true identity of the Newcastle Eagles.
And it's early doors as well. Sheffield, a team, again, with a great history, Kieran, but in the last 3-4 years, they've been more in the chasing pack than actually landing silverware. Have you seen enough from them in terms of the players they brought in and early games this season to convince you they can contend this season for the title?
Yeah, I see them as a really strong squad. They've got the pieces. You know, a team of Lions, he's won before. You know, so they've got the pieces there. Defensively, they're doing a great job. You know, they're really locking up teams. But offensively, they've been so up and down, so inconsistent. I'm just not sold just yet.
It has been a mixed start to the championship season for both of these teams, but I've got to stress, as you'll see from the table in front of you, it is very early stage of the season. Manchester top their standings, but they played 6 games, winning 4 of them. A number of teams in the chasing pack on 4 points. Sheffield earned their 2 victories against the Giants. They were going very well, Sheffield, in the group stage of the Cup, but then they got blown away by London in the quarterfinal, to Kieran's point, that they're a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. The Eagles, following that opening day loss, notched up wins against Plymouth and Surrey. And as it's a Team GB window this weekend, it means there are very few other games being played in the BBL. Tonight's only other fixture is Leicester versus Surrey. And the Riders are in action again on Sunday when they travel to Sheffield. So, Kieran, Leicester playing twice in 48 hours. So by the end of the weekend, they could be sitting pretty on top of the table, or the whispers will be starting that it's a wide-open title race this season.
Yeah, this is nothing new for Leicester. You know, they're used to the hustle and bustle of the BBL. Rob sets up a team to play big minutes, you know, spread the minutes out, play big games. I'm sure Leicester are going to handle business this weekend. Yeah,
they play the long game, certainly, as they did last season, so consistent all season long. Now, on to tonight's game, and we talked about the rivalry between these two teams, some great tussles over the years. Another great chapter in that rivalry was written last season in the playoffs.
BBL playoff quarterfinals here as the Newcastle Eagles take on the Sheffield Sharks. Fletcher to Defoe, to the basket for 2 and 8 in the shot clock for the Sharks. Down to Nichols, underneath, scoops it in. It's Hemsley. Hemsley off the glass, levels the game. Certainly very much in the balance going into the second leg. Here he is again, this time he turns the shot down Marsden. He's got to get it away, and he knocks it down on Gordon. Driving in, takes the foul, will go to the line for a bonus. And they've turned it over. And Hemsley is out in front, and Hemsley will slam it down. Knocks it out. Onto Sayers, big shot for 3, and he knocks it down. Fletcher drives in. Fletcher to win it. Gordon tips it in. And the Newcastle Eagles, who've been behind for most of the game, have won the game at the death.
Kieran, you and I were covering that game on Sky Sports. Drew, you were playing in it. A 2-point margin in a 2-leg tie is as close as it gets, pretty much. Heartbreaking way for the Sharks to lose, but that must have really galvanized the Eagles, the manner of that victory.
I mean, down 14 with 7 minutes to go after we got that victory. I went in the locker room and I said, we playing with house money now, fellas. Facing the Leicester Riders, there's no expectations. We can go out and play, and the rest is history.
Well, the rest is history. Any chance for Drew Lasker to get this in? Let's take a look at what they went on to do, of course, as if you needed any kind of reminding. I bet you never get tired of seeing this.
Oh, man, every time I see this, it just brings a smile to my face, knowing that this is my last memory of playing professional basketball.
What a way to go out. Training bright and early the next day, of course. Okay, yeah. Right. Brilliant season in the end for the Newcastle Eagles, ending things on a high, and it's, of course, indeed a strong winning culture at this club. Is that set to continue this year? Well, this season in the Eagles locker room, there are some familiar faces alongside some brand new recruits.
Probably between Fletch and Darius.
Probably Darius and Fletch because of their experience.
I would say between me and Fletch. We've been in the league for so long and we know what we have to do to get it done.
I believe I probably have one of the highest basketball IQs. I think Darius is up there. Corey is up there as well. He's extremely smart.
Honestly, I'd say myself. I think I have a really high IQ. Been around the game for so long. I feel like I have a good understanding for it.
Best shooter? Oh, man. Okay.
Louis the best shooter. That corner 3, I don't know. Until I see someone hit them shots, it has to be him.
I would say me, but then there's going to be issues about that. It's between Louis and Corey.
It's between Corey and Louis. I can't pick.
Myself, but if I wasn't going to say myself, I'd have to say Louis. He's just a certified knockdown shooter. Everybody knows that.
We've got a lot of shooters on our team this year, but I'm going to have to back myself.
Best defensive player, I got to get a Duke. Duke. Just his activity, really. Just activity on the glass, the rebound.
Plays aggressive defense all the way through. His energy goes throughout the whole 40 minutes.
It's definitely noticeable.
That's my end of the floor, you know. I'm not the guy that's coming out to score 30 every night, you know. I'm on the boards, I'm getting defensive rebounds, blocks, you know. Whatever it takes.
Coach's favorite, Fletch?
Probably Fletch or Darius.
I will feel honored if he said I was his favorite. I'll probably be able to sleep at night.
Got to give it to Darius. He just gets away with the most, honestly.
The most vocal on the team is Darius.
Me, get everyone going, pumped up, try to sort the defense out.
Probably say Fletch.
I think it's a tie between me and D. But if I had to choose, I'd definitely probably say D.
He's not afraid to, let you know if you're not doing too good.
In most circumstances, Darius is the voice I always hear.
Ha! Souffle.
Souffle, probably. And souffle.
You have to give that to the young boy. Souffle. Sou.
Has to be my guy Souffle.
There's no way I'm getting called souffle.
Does he like it?
He hates it. That's what makes it even better.
I got called souffle. Don't even know how that started, but we're here now.
Drew used to fall asleep on the way back, for sure. But I say Darius is probably the first on the way there.
I will go me.
I mean, I don't say it out loud, but in my mind, yeah, I'm finna go to sleep.
That might be me too. I'd say myself, because I usually try to go to sleep right away when I get on the bus. I put my headphones on, got my neck pillow, and it just lights out.
Looks to me, Drew, that Fletch threw you under the bus there.
I mean, how did I get involved in a team locker room? I don't play anymore. And I got kids, by the way. And Fletch, you're supposed to be my boy. Stop telling my business.
Man needs his sleep, right? The souffle nickname, that's going to be quite hard to shake.
Oh, it's unreal. It's unreal. I was young Keeks, so that doesn't top that. Souffle is right up there.
Let's take a look at this Newcastle roster in a bit more detail because, as I mentioned, getting into that locker room piece, some old vets, including, of course, Darius Defoe there, and some new additions. Brandon Peel, the late addition to the roster, as we heard a little bit earlier on. The former London Lion has brought some real quality to the lineup as expected. Corey Johnson, former Leicester rider. Louis Sayers, as we heard in that piece, a very strong shooter. Fletch alongside Defoe, that Eagles veteran core right at the heart of this franchise. Let's look at Brandon Peel first. Had a spell with the Lions a few years back and was a real fan favourite there, Kieran. Given how he started with the Eagles, you can see why.
Definitely. I was saying at the start, he's such a hard player to play against. He's so active, really quick hands, and he does a lot off the ball. I was talking about second chance points. He finds a way to score within the offense, and I think that's a great fit for the Eagles.
Corey Johnson, last time we saw him, Kieran, you said you were expecting big things. That was your quote. Has he lived up to the pressure of the Achara focus?
He is definitely bringing big things. He's putting the ball up. He's scoring for himself as well. He's creating his own shot at times as well. I think the time without Fletcher during the Cup really helped his game.
Drew, Duke Shelton, a.k.a. the Duke of Newcastle. We were talking about good nicknames. He's right up there. He's a well-travelled veteran, of course, averaging over 10 rebounds a game, settling in well.
Yeah, he's like the Energizer Bunny. He keeps going and going. And by the way, he'll get you 10 rebounds as well, can fly over the rim, and he'll be the reason that this capacity crowd will get on their feet tonight.
And it is a packed house in here. I'm delighted to say one of the great players in the BBL, Ramon Fletcher, hasn't been in the best form this season. Drew, that happens to all great players from time to time, but what is it specifically that's not clicking for him at the moment?
It's just a slow start. I mean, he got in late, and, we talked about it at the top. They had a lot of injuries, and he didn't have that chemistry with those guys. But if I'm going to bet on anybody bouncing back, it's 4-4 Ramon Fletcher.
The two-time MVP. That's the Eagles. Next up, we're going to take a closer look at the Sharks and the new signing who's already gone straight to the top of the class, it seems. See you in a few.
If it's not coach, then it's Aaron that's coaching.
I think he's able to relay what the coach wants to us the best.
He's the floor general out there, and they've got a good relationship.
If that is his favorite player, I can see why.
Welcome back to Newcastle Eagles Sharks, tipping off in around 15 minutes time. Both sets of players warming up behind us right now. For the Sheffield Sharks, Kieran, it's been a frustrating start to the season for them because they were in good form early on. And I think because of that, they would have fancied their chances against the Lions in the quarter-final of the Cup. They were blown away. It was the manner of that defeat which will really frustrate them.
Yeah, very much so. I got to speak to Tuck about it. You know, he was really upset. You know, they had prepared for the season. They were doing a really good job, but they just, you know, they got sucker punched and didn't know how to respond.
Well, we've seen that Newcastle have got some big characters once again this season. What about Sheffield? Let's find out a little bit more about the Sharks.
That everyone says themselves, so I gotta say me.
Pride, I'll say me.
I'm gonna go with me.
I think right now it would be Aaron Anderson.
Aaron Anderson.
Aaron.
He's, you know, a true point guard, a true leader.
He's got a lot of experience and he controls the tempo real nice as well.
He fans you up and pass, he can score. He's good on defense, so I try and emulate him sometimes.
He's definitely our best player at the moment.
Passionate.
I'd probably say passionate.
I would say passion. I think everybody wants to win. We're at a cusp where we're trying to figure out our identity.
If you look at our roster from top to bottom, we're stacked with talent. I think we've got a solid starting five, but then you look at our bench too. So I think once we are able to put all that potential together,
people are not going to be looking forward to playing us.
Aaron.
Probably Aaron Anderson.
Aaron Anderson.
Yeah, point guard.
If it's not coach, then it's Aaron that's coaching on the floor anyway.
I think he's able to relay what the coach wants to us the best.
he's the floor general out there, and they've got a good relationship.
If that is his favorite player, I can see why.
Marcus has the best drip for sure.
Marcus dressed pretty nice.
First team meal and was actually rocking double denim, believe it or not.
I think I might have the trophy right now.
I bet Marcus probably said he had the best drip, but sometimes it's a little tight, some of the stuff he's been wearing.
Kipper Nichols.
Kipper.
I gotta say Kipper.
I like the way he dresses. Got some cool gear.
His shoe game, unmatched.
It doesn't matter if we're going out to eat or just to the game, he's trying to style us some kind of way.
Passionate. Precise.
Detailed.
They shoot the gap and they get ambulance. We got to take our time so we can take advantage of it and let our man get screened.
He's a perfectionist.
Fellas, we got to learn from this, all right? You got to learn. We're a talented team. We're a good team. I love y'all. Y'all good, love coaching, good spirits, good energy, good mentality. But that's not good enough.
Can I describe him in one word? I'd say aggressive. He gets a little aggressive on the sideline sometimes.
Who's there?
Jordan Routino. J-Rap.
J-Rap.
Gotta be, you know, Jonathan Williams, John.
Everyone's calling him John, so yeah.
I just feel like they never heard of John out here.
John, aka
John Baby.
His rapper name is John Baby, and for us in practice one day that transformed into Jean Bébé.
Firstly, I can attest to the strong shoe game from these two tonight. You have to take my word for that. Secondly, the rapper name. I want to drill down a little bit more into that. Mike Tuck enjoyed himself there.
Yeah, I know that. I've heard in the streets that Jonathan Williams can go on the mic, so we have to get him here one day.
The Sharks Christmas karaoke. He's going to be grabbing things. Let's talk a bit about Coach Lyons, because, of course, he's a huge presence for this side, huge presence in the BBL. He's one of those coaches that commands respect, obviously from his players, but much further afield as well.
Yeah, very much so. He's very well respected in the league, but everyone that's played for him, I've seen that he built a relationship with them, and I think that's really, really crucial to that dynamic of the team.
There is a cornerstone in this team led by our friend, the skipper, Mike Tuck, part of our broadcast crew this season. But this is his day job, of course. Bennett Cook, another player, returned. So is Jordan Routino, Kipper Nichols, too. And they've added quality in Marcus Delpeche, who was at Bristol last year. American signings including Aaron Anderson, Jonathan Williams, and most recently, the ex-Eagle, Rodney Glasgow. And he's a player, Drew, that you know all too well. You played alongside him. What's he going to bring to the Sharks side?
Toughness and grit, which fits in perfectly with the Steel City and the Sheffield Sharks DNA. And he also brings a level of scoring ability with the Sheffield Sharks need at the moment.
Aaron Anderson is a player that Mike Tuck, well, we just heard him say he's definitely our best player right now. That is high praise indeed.
Yeah, well, you heard it there on the locker room that he is the coach's favorite because he's the floor general. Coach Atiba is more a tactician, and he is a player that won't lose you a game. He'll take care of the basketball, solid point guard.
So, Kieran, if Anderson's the provider, then Jonathan Williams is one of those players who's making the most of that provision. He leads the team in points per game. He's a prolific part of this Sharks offense.
Yeah, Jean Bébé, he knows how to score.
What accent was that?
Over 1,700 points in college. Someone that can put these kind of numbers, he's a scorer.
Marcus Delpeche, we saw his brother Malcolm have a big game on last week's show. Coach Lyons, I guess, was sick of playing against him and decided to bring him into the fold. What do you make of that signing?
Yeah, I mean, some would argue he's the better part of the twin tandem that we've seen last week. Off to a slow start right now, but Coach Atiba Lyons told me that it's his job to get him playing better.
Kipper Nichols was in blistering form earlier on this season, but he does tend to be a streaky player, Kieran, doesn't he?
Definitely a streaky player, but if you look at the plus minus, when he's on the court, he's doing a job because defensively he can cover multiple positions. But yeah, I think they need to get a little bit more scoring prowess from him.
You look at his shooting, it looks really impressive. Drill down a bit further, his perimeter shooting under 30%. Is that a side of his game that you'd like to see him kick on with?
Definitely, but to me, it's his shot selection. I think he's not taking the correct shots at times. And that's a learning curve. As a young player, he's going to have to learn what's a good shot, what's a bad shot, and when to take those shots.
And new to the BBL, relatively speaking, as well. So that'll come, you think, in his sophomore season. Drew, what kind of game are we expecting tonight in terms of tempo and pace?
Well, it's going to be with the battle of the point guards. Ramon Fletcher and Aaron Anderson both are at top at the assist and like to control the game. So I'll be looking at that category to see who is going to be controlling that tempo.
Matchup you're most looking forward to?
It has to be Peel and Nichols. I think it's a great, evenly match. They're both energetic, great defenders. Whoever's going to win that battle, second chance points, I think that could be the key to the game.
Let's drill down a bit more into this fast-paced offense that Coach Mack and the Eagles love to play up against the Sharks D, which is imperious, and of course great ball control as well. So how do they square up?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see because we all know that the Newcastle Eagles like to get 100 possessions. The Sheffield Sharks like to play slow. They like to grind it out. So we'll see who prevails tonight.
Someone's got to give, I think. Well, let's hear from both coaches, Atiba Lyons and Coach McLeod. Drew caught up with them a little bit earlier on.
Coach, 2-1 in the championship at the moment. You happy with the league start?
Yeah, for sure. I think after we got past the Leicester game, which it was a little bit soon for us as far as health comes for the whole squad, but a 2-0 weekend following that, it was pretty good.
It's okay. I think the 2 wins was very strong wins. The 1 lost, a lot of work showed its head.
How's the team gelling with the new addition?
Looking really good. I'm really happy with the last 2 weeks. Could have been a banana skin having that much time off, but I think we've took care of our schedule really well and we're looking good.
I think it's been really beneficial. We're a lot stronger, a lot faster, more dynamic team, so we're excited about it.
In your third matchup of the season, any thoughts on the first 2?
The second one, you kind of got to throw it out the window a little bit. The first one, we were in a good position to win the game and we threw it away. And I think that in the Manchester game early on, I think we really let those 2 games slip. So this one, I think it's kind of a fresh slate.
They've been tough games. Newcastle, we've got them at different times in the Cup, so they're full strength today. So it'll be interesting how it plays out.
What are the keys to victory?
I think pace, number one. We're going to want to play fast. They're going to want to play slow. They're number 1 in the league for taking care of the basketball. Low number of turnovers. So I think our defense has to be intense, and we've got to keep the pace high.
We have to keep them out of transition and do a good job of trying to limit Fletcher's good looks.
And what are the key matchups or any players that you need to key in on tonight?
I think Kipper Nichols is a big one. You see 2 faces of him a lot. I think he was 5 of 14 or 5 of 15 shooting his last game, but he's the type of guy who could score 25, or maybe he could play a little few less minutes and it doesn't fall for him. So always dangerous, always a scorer mentality from him.
I think right now, everyone's playing really well for them, but Peel, probably the new piece, how that's going to affect them and how we match up is going to be interesting.
Appreciate your time, Coach.
Let's look at the head-to-heads between the 2 teams. As we've talked about, Sheffield stout defensively. Kieran, what underpins those impressive numbers?
IQ. You have players who can protect the ball. Anderson does a great job. getting the assist but not turning the ball over, controlling the tempo of the game. I think that's the big key for that.
Second chance and fast break points as well. Crucial for both sides. Eagles ranking high for both. Sheffield in terms of second chance points in the top 3 also. That's going to be crucial tonight, Drew.
Yeah, it's going to be a big difference in this game because we know that those first actions are going to be taken away. So how do both of these teams generate more points? By crashing the glass.
If we look at the individual team leaders, Jonathan Williams, as we mentioned, a crucial part of this Sharks offense. Who else, Drew, needs to support him tonight?
Well, Jonathan Williams is their guy. He's their best scorer, best shooter, as you can see statistically. But like we talked about earlier, it's going to come down to Kipper Nichols if he steps his game up tonight.
Kipper Nichols has a big game. The Sharks typically have a big game. Duke Shelton we're seeing there as well, making his presence felt. So let's talk a bit about the coach matchup as well if we're talking head-to-head, because Coach McLeod is a relatively young head coach, of course, but he's already won a fair bit. Playing under him, Drew, in the few years that you did as when he was your head coach, how did you see him develop and progress in that role?
I thought it was a smooth transition. I really credit Fab Flournoy because in his latter years, he gave Ian a lot of responsibility. So when he became head coach, he just transitioned in smoothly.
And Atiba Lyons is a coach, as we talked about, a huge amount of experience. How important is that, Kieran, when we're talking about the mainstay players that stay, like Mike Tuck, year after year, but those new faces that come in, they acclimatise quicker when they've got a coach who's so experienced.
So experienced, and giving those little golden nuggets to prepare the players for this league. I think that's really, really crucial at times.
All right, then, it looks like this one is almost ready for tip-off. Eagles Sharks is coming next.
Yes, all right. We had a little dip, we had a little lull, we recognized what we were doing wrong. This is the game we get back now, all right? We gotta play hard, play for each other, and the biggest thing, have fun, man. Last 2 games haven't felt fun to me. Let's start the game off the right way. It stops on defense now, the rest will take care of itself, all right?
Yes, sir. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Have fun. Here we go. Sharks on 3, 1, 2.
Shelton. Now for three. Nice shot.
Welcome back to Newcastle Friday night basketball here on Sky Sports, and we are pretty much set to get this one underway. Eagles Sharks, our game this evening, and your commentary team, Ant Rowe and Dan Rowledge.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, these two teams have met 88 times in the league. It's 44-44, so somebody's going to take the lead in the head-to-head. Let's look at the starting fives, and the most interesting one here in the Newcastle lineup. Brandon Peel with the first start for the Eagles.
Really exciting front court there, and Shelton and Peel, a lot of activity, and I think that will give them an inside presence and the advantage here tonight.
And if we take a look at the starting lineup for the Sheffield Sharks, a different one for them as well. Rodney Glasgow into the starting lineup for the first time, and Delpesh has only started 3 times before this season. They usually go with Cook and bring Delpesh off the bench. Atiba switching it up tonight.
I really like that Glasgow addition here. He's an ex-Eagles player, so that emotion there, you'd want to invest that into the game. But also Delpesh having a good season, you want him to have that come-up game against someone like Shelton.
Well, he certainly would. And the two teams are out there now, and we are almost ready to go. And it is usually fireworks when these two teams meet. They've played a lot of games over the years. In the cup and trophy groups, they always ended up geographically going against each other. And there's usually something pretty exciting. And Sheffield actually have a great record in this building since it's been opened. The ball is up, and we are underway. And it was almost like nobody was expecting that. It was just an easy layup.
I thought he went to the wrong basket. That's how weird that felt there. But hey, he took off. He's got an easy 2. That should get him going for this evening.
And Newcastle didn't react at all there. Here's Peel, top of the key for 3. Off the mark. Shelton, as we will see over the course of the game, making a nuisance of himself on the offensive glass.
Yeah, he didn't grab the offensive rebound there, but that's a really interesting matchup there between Shelton and Delpesh. 2 big bodies will be banging each other against each other tonight.
And that might be the reason that we went for Delpesh in the starting lineup. Delpesh comes up short. Here's Johnson. Johnson for 3, a little bit short. Delpesh with the rebound. Drew Lasker has joined us in commentary. What do you make of this Sheffield lineup? Glasgow in the starting lineup, Delpesh in the starting lineup.
Well, I know that Coach Atiba Lions know that they got to bring firepower. This is a big game. This is a statement game to get a game on the road early. And Coach is pulling out all the guns.
Rotino in the corner, wide open for 3. That is not a guy that Newcastle want to allow to get hot.
Well, they name-tagged Anderson, the floor general, and he found his shooter in the corner.
Sayers cutting back door. Gets his and Newcastle's first points of the game.
And on paper, you expect this to be a low-scoring game. Both of these teams run the same similar offense. So watch these two teams dig deep into those actions tonight.
Here's Nichols. Mid-range. Strings it.
Well, he sort of hesitated there before. It's a half pump fake, which sort of lulled Pale to sleep there. And Kipper Nichols, he would have knocked down the open jump shot.
Such an important player for Sheffield. They tend to be a lot better when he's on top form. Here's Sayers. Up to Peel. Fletcher now dropping it into Peel at the elbow. And Peel went chasing it, but it was good for 2.
Well, they've already used that pick and roll and pick and pop a lot. But Fletcher's got 2 weapons there. He can go to Peel or he can go to Shelton. But Peel's got that jump shot there, which makes it even more difficult to guard.
And it looked very familiar. I've seen that same pocket pass to Darius Defoe 1,000 times.
Glasgow off the glass, draws the foul. He'll go to the line for a bonus free throw.
Really smart decision from Coach Atiba Lions. Rodney Glasgow in the starting lineup. I really like that. I like thrusting that player in. He's familiar with his surroundings, but also you've got that added emotional connection to this opposition, which I think Rodney Glasgow is someone that will rise to.
And a great signing by Coach at TB Lions as Sheffield Sharks sit at the bottom of the league in scoring. And what Rodney brings is that scoring punch, because Anderson is a traditional point guard, plays it safe, and this is where Glasgow can come and kind of break the mold.
Well, Rattles out on the free throw. Here's Shelton. Cross court to Johnson. Johnson into Shelton underneath the two.
Good patience there. I like that. Shelton didn't force the original post entry there. He was patient, kicked it back out, and he got his reward for the easy two inside.
Anderson looking for options. Time ticking down on the shot clock now. Nichols with a tough turnaround. Wow.
Oh, two tough jump shots in essence, really. I mean, he's patient with it, he's composed, but that's a difficult shot. Nothing but net.
And that's exactly what Kieran was talking about at the top, that if those are misses, those are bad shots, but if they go in, they look great.
Shelton close to the rim. Glasgow too deep to be able to take a charge.
This is a good sign here for Shelton as well. You'd want that guy to be getting early points so he's active throughout the whole course of the game. Good start from him so far.
Glasgow out to Ratino. Steps back for three, and he knocks down his second of the game.
Wow, Ratino usually known for the catch and shoot there, but off the dribble. Good looking three-point shot there from him.
And this is similar to a home game for the Sheffield Sharks. Still in a stat from you, Dan. Sheffield is 7-5 here at Virtue Motors Arena, so they look very comfortable.
They certainly do. They actually have a better win percentage than Newcastle in this building. Although, to be fair, if you look at the win percentage, Newcastle are 5th. And that's not counting Great Britain, who are 2-0 in this building as well. Here's Fletcher. Hands deflected by Delpesh. Nichols running 4-on-1 here. Back to Glasgow. Well, they kind of got stuck there, Sheffield. They managed to get points, but it wasn't the cleanest fast break you've ever seen.
That was not the most textbook fast break you'll see, but what they did have is they had numbers, so you could afford to bobble the ball, because if you've got bodies down there, any pro basketball player is going to score from there.
Well, Nichols almost got in the way of Delpesh. He probably should have gone to the other side on that, but Sheffield, we talked about their struggles offensively in recent weeks, particularly last week against Cheshire, really struggled to put the ball in the basket. 18 points here in under 5 minutes.
Yeah, they just look a little bit more focused tonight. Watching that game back on Sunday, they looked like they looked at Cheshire's record, walked into there expecting that they were just going to show up and win. But they know this is a different kettle of fish here, and you got to come here and earn a win if you're going to win against Newcastle Eagles.
The Newcastle, conversely, and you know, they won't be happy. 8 points is all right in 4 minutes, but you can't give up 18. And I know Nichols has hit a couple of tough ones, but there's also been some open shots. Ratino in the corner for 3, 4-on-1 fast break.
Look, there's a lot of basketball game to go. We've only played only 5 minutes here. But what I'd be concerned at right now is you saw an early uncharacteristic turnover there from Fletcher at the top. But also, I think I saw 1 or 2 players in screen there against 4 players, Sheffield Sharks players. Look, I know you may have no chance of getting that, but you've got to run back. Regardless, you never know if a player misses a layup or, you know, that wasn't a textbook offensive transition by any means. So, you know, Newcastle Eagles have to respond here. They're on the home court here, sellout crowd. Right now, it doesn't suggest to me that they want it as much as the Sharks.
Here's Williams, who's been out with a hand problem for a number of weeks, back into the action. Peel. Shot clock being counted down by the home fans. Defoe got caught by Nichols and will shoot 2.
Good patience there and good understanding that Darius Defoe had a mismatch inside. The original mismatch was actually on Glasgow, and Kipper Nichols comes across and tries to help defense, but clips him on the arm there, and Darius Defoe just got introduced to this game. Whenever things get tough, you can introduce a Darius Defoe, and he's already having a positive impact.
And there's nobody better in the league at understanding their role. His role is to come in, bring instant offense, and be an anchor on the defensive side.
The defense is certainly what they need right now. Conceded 18 points with 5 minutes to play. It's not exactly that resistance there on that end of the floor.
Anderson for Sheffield. Down to Delpesh. And Delpesh gets in close, and that's an easy score for him.
Really good positioning from Delpesh, and he was against a smaller defender there, which made a even easier basket for him.
And I think that was created. It looked like Newcastle Eagles might have been in a 2-3 zone in there. So let's.
I was wondering that whether it actually might have been a 3-2, and then Darius came up high.
Well, you see they've got out of it real quick. They're back to a man-to-man defense right now.
Here's Fletcher. Dumps it down to Defoe. He lays it in for 2.
That's so tough. The penetration there from Fletcher is so devastating. He gets all of the defense to suck in, and there's that dump down pass and finish to Darius Defoe.
Glasgow working the pick and roll with Nichols. Nichols to the turnaround. Oh, he's missed one.
And that's the easiest jump shot he could have had so far to this evening.
He definitely must need a hand in the face because he was wide open on that attempt.
Johnson standing on the line on the baseline. That'll give the ball back to Sheffield.
What I would say is this is a characteristics, though, of a team that hasn't played in 2.5 weeks. It's, you know, you can give 110% of practice every single day, but it doesn't quite replicate the intensity and what you need to lock in psychologically in a real game situation.
Well, that one wasn't even close. He was a long way over the line there.
And 19 days off, to be exact. And you're right. When you're off that long, it's hard to generate rhythm in practice. You get rhythm by playing games. So I look to Newcastle Eagles to be able to settle into this game later than usual.
I'll tell you one thing, they're not calling out of bounds in practice.
No. Rutino in off the glass.
Subsequently, on complete contrast, this Sheffield Sharks like in rhythm there. Rutino again getting a good look inside around the rim.
Williams to Defoe. Leaves it short. Can't quite get the rebound, but Rutino does.
And it's great to see Kyle Williams back out there after missing a month with that hand injury.
Rutino again for 3. 3 of 3 from behind the arc. He has 11 here in the first 7 minutes.
Jordan Rutino was just on point. Both ends of the floor. Even the play before, you see him snatch the rebound. He's a man on a mission right now, and he's the one doing most of the damage.
Down to Shelton. Shelton has the size mismatch. He uses his strength. The foul is scored on the floor.
I like that stance though from Rutino. Yes, it was a foul, but nothing's easy. It's a message that no basket is going to become easy, and Duke Shelton does a good job of using his size there and gets Rutino to reach in.
Well, Newcastle have gone bigger with Defoe and Shelton, so Team Lions has matched that by bringing Mike Tuck into the game. Oh, that's a careless turnover.
That's a 19-day off turnover right there. Just out of rhythm, out of sync.
Well, Tuck and Defoe going head-to-head. Not for the first time, I think it'll be fair to say. Here he is. Still needs another 20 points to get that all-time Sheffield record. Thought he was going to try and fire up a 3, but he passes it on to Rutino, who misses his first shot of the game.
See, even when Sheffield Sharks are missing, it looks like a good miss. That was a really good offense there. Starts with Anderson and finishes with a Rutino 3.
Traveling violation on Defoe. It was almost the fact that there was so much room in front of him.
Gotta be careful here, these Newcastle Eagles, because there's a couple turnovers here now on the offensive end. They're being very wasteful down that end, but other end of the floor, they're having to work so hard to challenge the Sharks and provide some sort of resistance.
4 turnovers already for the Eagles. Here's Tuck for 3. Back iron. Fletcher kicks out to Defoe. Defoe, no foul, no basket, sorry, fouls on the floor.
Wow, I will say that's a very odd call there. I've not seen that where a player's picked up the ball and it looked to me like he was in the act of shooting. Nice pump fake there from Darius Defoe, gets inside and hands on.
Well, I guess the argument there the referee's making is that the foul comes as he's picking the ball up rather than as he gets it into his shooting motion. I'm with you. I thought that was an and one, but there's a little hand on the arm before the ball comes upwards.
But guys, there's one thing called home court cooking from the referees. We're in Virtue Motors Arena. That's an and one. Send Darius Defoe to the line
This
for one.
isn't the NBA. You don't get stuff like that.
Wishful
Timeout call,
thinking.
timeout called by the Sheffield Sharks. They still lead by 14 here. And Newcastle, we were talking earlier about the issues, the concern of how many points they've given up. Actually, 11 now is undercooking. When that timeout was called 3 minutes ago, 3.5 minutes ago, they had 8. They've only scored 3 in the last 3 minutes or so.
There's a really good scout there by Anderson as well. The play before where Ramon Fletcher does that typical dribble there and he changes the pace and goes to that left hand, but Anderson was already there. He'd already met him.
Yes.
Really good bit of individual defense there, and you just feel at this moment in time of this game that Sheffield Sharks just that little bit more psychologically locked in than the Eagles.
And that's a scouting report thing, and that's Fletcher's signature move in transition, but everyone always seems to be on the opposite side. It looks like Atiba Lyons has really hammered home that scout.
There's Fletcher again. Comes back to the right, knocks down the 3.
That's such a difficult shot there. And Ramon Fletcher, before that shot, was only shooting 10% from the three-point line. 3 for 29 in all competitions, so he's had a dismal time out there. Big play from him.
Anderson. Martino gets the switch, looking to attack Defoe, and the foul is called.
Very surprising call. It was a lot of physicality on that play, and then the ref calls it that. Looks like Darius Defoe might have got his hand in the cookie jar late.
I think it's one of them where he's sort of easing him in a direction. Oh, great follow from Cook to jam that home.
Really good work there from Bennett Cook. Williams is a guy that hasn't really been able to put his imprint on this game, but Bennett Cook certainly has with that finish.
Williams. Well, he almost fell out of bounds. He's thrown it into the backcourt. It'll be another turnover by the Newcastle Eagles. Their 5th of the quarter. It's 5 different players as well.
And Coach Mack is just trying to find a 5 here that can string some sort of consistency together, because at the moment it doesn't look like any unit has been able to muster consecutive offensive plays.
Well, ball in the front court, so Sheffield only get 14 seconds here. Sometimes guys forget that. They've got late in the shot clock, it needs to go up. Martino on the runner, gets it away. But Shelton with the rebound.
That's a great defensive rebound too, because that was a sure putback again from Cook.
And you can see Coach McLeod on the sidelines willing his team forward there. Wilson took that instruction and went hard to the basket. He'll shoot 2.
Well, sometimes that's what you got to do. You know, when your half set offense isn't working, you just got to figure out a way to attack or attack early.
And Sheffield Sharks traditionally do a great job in the half court defensively against the Newcastle Eagles. So in order to defeat this strong, tough defense, you got to get out in transition, as you see Coach McLeod telling the person to push it, run.
30 seconds to play in the first quarter. Sheffield with a 12-point advantage. Anderson looking to take as much out of the clock as he can. Here's Tuck going to work. Spinning through, and that's going to be foul number 2 on Darius Defoe.
That's good work from Mike Tuck as well. He didn't settle for that jump shot. He was tantalizing Darius Defoe to reach in there, and hands to come down there, and that will take Darius Defoe to the bench, which will be a loss to this interior defense of the Eagles.
And it looked like Mike Tuck pulled out the whole repertoire there, giving him about 3 or 4 moves. I mean, it takes a lot of discipline to stay down on all of those pump fakes.
We saw a little bit of everything from 2009 there.
Yeah, indeed.
Didn't quite jump over him the way he might have done in his early days.
That Air Canada nickname is made it.
Well, there's 2 more points closer to Todd Cawthorne as the all-time Sheffield leading scorer. 10 seconds left here for Newcastle to cut this gap. Sayers in the corner, that's his spot. Oh, he's hit the top of the board. Sheffield might get one away. No, Sayers again on the buzzer for 3. Almost banked it in. But a great first quarter for the Sheffield Sharks here, leading by 14. Wow, work to be done for Coach McLeod and the Newcastle Eagles. Giving up 29 in the opening quarter and only scoring 15 the other way. They will look to cut this deficit. We will be back with the second quarter after this. Welcome back to the Virtue Motors Arena here in Newcastle, where the Eagles will start the ball in the second quarter, but with a lot of work to do. Trailing by 14, almost doubled up in the opening quarter, 29-15. Person down to Peel, and Glasgow moved away from him before Cook had got there, so it was an easy score in the end.
And that's what you want, and you want a nice calculated offense coming into the second quarter, and Brandon Peel, just so crafty down there, was able to finish under the rim.
Oh, nice spin, but Shelton did well to recover.
That's excellent defense there from Duke Shelton. Didn't bite so much on that first pump fake and stood his ground.
Here's Shelton against Cook at the other end of the floor. And he steps past him, gets his own rebound. Leaves the hook short. He's going after it again and keeps it alive. Third chance opportunity for Newcastle. Johnson creates some room and knocks down the three, you give the team enough chances, they'll score.
They will indeed. Phenomenal energy there from Duke Shelton, but that's a really difficult shot from Corey Johnson. He knocks it down just like he has done for much of this season.
Well, we've seen the evolution of Corey Johnson, known as just a shooter the last 2 years. This year, he's been able to get it off the dribbles, like moves like that, get it to the bucket, get to his floater, having a great season.
He's Cook, and a late whistle, but I think it was the right call.
Bennett Cook just is so good with the body there. Look how much space he's got. He holds the defender off, so it's really difficult for Duke Shelton to get across there. He has to foul him to prevent him from scoring an easy bucket.
And Koch is one of those bigs you got to be disciplined on defensively, because he'll give you 3 or 4 pump fakes and get you in foul trouble real quick if you're not disciplined.
Shelton, that's his first. Obviously, Defoe has already got 2. First free throw is good. Lead is back into double figures. Person gets it back to Peel. Looking to attack, gets all the way to the basket, throws it up high, but it doesn't drop. Oh, Peel with the steal, not a great outlet pass. Shelton is going to draw the foul as Cook is called for the block.
Cook tried to take away that baseline there, and thought it was one of those calls that in between that and a flop, and I wasn't sure what the referee was going to do, but
both is the answer to that. He's called it for a foul and given him a flop warning.
Good officiating.
Yeah, great call.
Officiating.
And it looks very obvious what Newcastle's game plan is tonight, is to get out and run and to punch it inside, as they're really trying to attack Sheffield's bigs.
You have to get stops to run. That's been the issue.
Yeah.
They haven't got enough stops, and they haven't been able to get in the open floor.
This person looking to attack, blocked by Cook. Comes back to Sayers though. Has to shoot with the shot clock about to expire. 2 Eagles getting in each other's way, but Shelton eventually scores.
That's a great sign if you're in the Eagles camp there. 2 players fighting over him when they're both wearing a black jersey. That's only good news or good signs for things to come.
Well, Nichols is hobbling over towards the bench. I didn't see what happened to him, but he doesn't look in a good way. Oh, let's hope it's just one of those impact ones. Nothing more serious than that.
You hope so, because if Kipper Nichols have to exit this game, this is a huge loss for the Sheffield Sharks.
Let's see if we can see. He's in the middle of the key there. He seems to clutch his knee beforehand.
It looked like a knee-to-knee when he was driving and he bumped his knee.
Well, let's hope that is just a knee-to-knee bang. Here's Rotino. Anderson steps into the 3, in and out. Oh, good follow, and tipped home by Joe Mazzulla.
Goodness me, that was a phenomenal offensive rebound. Just to be able to grab that and bring it in with one hand, but all in one motion for the finish.
Shelton getting his way to the basket.
Shelton going to work. Now that'll take him to 8 points personal, 9 rebounds. What a phenomenal half he's having so far.
Wow.
Glasgow just floats it in left-handed.
He totally changes the Sheffield Sharks offense.
Peel spinning baseline. Shelton top of the key, off the mark.
It's unfortunate that you'd want it to be the other way around. You'd want Shelton to be low there and throwing it high to Brandon Peel for that jump shot.
Glasgow kicks it out. 3-pointer is off the mark. He's in the right place at the right time. He's kind of wrapped up now, and that'll be a held ball. Possession arrow will give it to Sheffield.
Oh, Joe Musvolo, active hands. He's someone that's introduced this game, and he's clearly ready for the occasion.
And it seems Glasgow took a little bit of pressure off of Anderson as Anderson gets him a corner three being created for, where most of the season he's been doing the creating.
Glasgow strings it.
That's tough. He's trying to penetrate to that middle. Wasn't there, it was denied, so he just simple drag back dribble there and pulls up for that jump shot.
4 of 4 for 8 points. Peel. Fletcher, shot clock getting low. Peel has to fire the three, back iron, long rebound out to Glasgow. Oh, Retina, there's a breakdown. They dodged a bullet there.
They really did, Dan, and transition defense was all over the place. The matchups weren't really there, and the one guy you don't want to lose is Jordan Retinho, and he wasn't able to punish them on that occasion.
And the Eagles just look a little bit discombobulated on the defensive end, and they got to get it together. They got to string some stops so they can get out and run and get that tagline 100 possessions, which Coach Ian McLeod always aims for.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've made the point already, the pair of you. It's hard to push the ball if you're taking it out of the net and going behind the baseline to inbound it. And that is where Newcastle over the years have always got cheap points in transition. I mean, looking at a guy who got a lot of fast break points, speed down the court, getting those quick twos before the defense could get back.
Yeah, and it's tough to score against a great defensive team. And right now, Sheffield Sharks are shooting 60%. So like you mentioned, Eagles are taking it out every time. And the Sheffield Sharks get to set up their defense, which they know the scout report, we talked about it. They run the same offense, and it's tough. They're making it tough on the Eagles.
Well, it takes time as well to implement a philosophy. You know, I mean, we're looking at this Newcastle Eagles team. This is a team that allows 89 points a game for their opposition. It's the second worst in the league. So this, by all means, has not been a Newcastle Eagles team that's been able to string, you know, enough stops together. So with the addition of Brandon Peel, for me, logically, I feel like, okay, there's more activity there in terms of securing the rebound and the resistance inside. But it's going to take a collective unit here to start getting stops.
The caveat on that number is obviously it includes the cup games as well, and there was a few games there where they were very thin on the ground in terms of the professional players. They had some of their younger lads out there. Here's Fletcher for three, off the mark. Almost another offensive rebound for Shelton. Oh, nice assist there. Delpesh to Peel. Very straight to it.
And it's good to see that Kipper Nichols have returned. So obviously that was just a knock on the knee. Great news for the Sheffield Shark fans.
Here's Glasgow. Into Delpesh. Spins back. Has it knocked away. And the foul is called. If that's on Shelton, it's his second. It isn't Shelton. It's Corey Johnson's number is shown. Just a little slap at the wrist there.
Yeah, another good call from the referees who've been very vigilant so far in this game.
It's Corey Johnson's second personal foul there, so he will be replaced by Sayers.
Everyone else, loud, make some noise!
Well, he has many attributes to his game. Marcus Delpesh. Free throw shooting, not the top of them.
Yeah, 44% would suggest that, well, let's just say his shooting arc is a lot higher than this percentage. Let's leave it at that.
But he had a great start to the season, and it seemed like the last couple of games he's gone to the bench. His minutes has gone down. I spoke to Coach Atibas earlier in the week, and he said it's up to him to put him in better positions to make sure he exceeds.
Well, he's 53% through his BBL career, which is a slightly bigger sample size, but not a much better shooting percentage. Fletcher underneath. He almost got too high there. Tossed it over the rim. Anderson pushing hard to the hole and finishing well.
That's what he's so good at, that quick burst of pace there. He's not the biggest player. Oh, Kyle Williams on the other end of the floor is able to attack the rim before the Sharks defense set up.
And this is how the Newcastle Eagles want to play. Push the basketball regardless if it's a make or miss.
Glasgow for three. Rims out. Shelton with the rebound. Go, 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 shouts Coach McLeod to his team. And they do go, and it's Williams again.
Well, it's working. Sheffield Sharks aren't able to set up their half-court defense, and Newcastle Eagles are taking full advantage of that.
Coutinho spins. Anderson dumps it off to Nichols. Just too strong on that. Back out to Peel. Here's Fletcher in full flight. Driving hard. And finishing really well at the rim.
That's so tough. How many times have we seen that? To me, on this fast break, it looks like there's no room here. He's being forced too far wide, but as we know, it's that left side, and there's no out of bounds or out of range for Ramon Fletcher on that left side of the
A
rim.
lot of contact on that play, but this is typical of a Sheffield Shark Newcastle Eagle game. A lot of contact, a lot of physicality.
Well, Atiba Lyons has called a timeout because Newcastle have outscored them 17-11 in this quarter to cut the Sharks lead down to just 8 points. And it's, I mean, we're almost repeating ourselves because it's the thing that we've been talking about. We were saying Newcastle weren't able to get out in transition earlier. They have been able to get out in transition in the last couple of minutes, and they've been able to put the points on the board that they want to here.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is they're not actually getting it off of their defense. They're just getting the ball out of bounds quicker, pushing the basketball up the floor. And that's how Newcastle want to play basketball. And with Sheffield Sharks' lack of depth, it'll be interesting to see how long that Sheffield can keep up with Newcastle's pace.
Number one would be you need to get back on a score. We need to be back. We can't have them beating us down the floor in transition when we put the ball in the basket.
Another thing they've done a stellar job at is just looking after the basketball. They had 5 turnovers at the end of that first quarter. They've got 0 turnovers this quarter, and that isn't leading to cheap or easy baskets for the Sheffield Sharks, which suffocates their ability to put points on the board in a hurry as well.
Newcastle jumped out like they're in a zone, but I think they've gone back to man here. Here's Nichols to Coutinho. Dumps it off and hammered in by Delpesh.
Wow, they've got a lot of offense through Coutinho. He's on 11 points himself, but he does the intelligent thing here and dumps the ball down to his 6'9" dunking center.
And that play should have never happened. Fletch was looking to switch with Brandon Peel, and it's just a lack of chemistry why that didn't happen, and Fletch ended up down on a mismatch with Coutinho.
Oh, he gets the 2 points back himself. Nice cut back door, and Coutinho lays it in.
That can't happen. A number of reasons. Poor initial defense there from Lewis Sayers, but also there's no internal help there. Newcastle Eagles have to be better defensively.
Williams, high archer. Rebound by Sayers. Too flat. And it's kept in play by Nichols.
Kipper Nichols does a good job there to secure that ball. There's some active Eagles there inside, crashing those offensive rebounds.
Delpesh. Shot clock getting low here. Anderson needs to get rid. He gets it away. Unable to convert, and that will be a Newcastle ball.
Good initial defense there from the Eagles, because Anderson had ran out of options there and was patient. Got a shot, a relatively good shot at the rim, wasn't able to convert.
Fletcher trying to lose Glasgow, finds Shelton. Shelton with his strength gets to the basket.
That's so good. Ramon Fletcher dancing around that big Shelton screen, and Shelton does the rest with a nice strong finish.
Double-double for him in the first half. 10 points, 10 rebounds.
And he's been a game changer.
Anderson loses it. Newcastle in transition. Fletcher back to Williams. Williams had to throw it up. There's Shelton again. Blocked by Delpesh.
Huge block by Delpesh.
Too far out in front of Anderson, though.
Sheffield Sharks don't need to do that. They're the ones that are in the lead. They've got control here. Kipper Nichols was trying to get something quickly, but the pass really wasn't on. It would have needed to be on the money there.
And actually, with a minute to go, take 20 seconds off, score, go up 10. Take what you have into the locker room. Fletcher under all sorts of pressure. Delpesh with the rebound this time. They pass it straight back to Glasgow. And now Anderson has it. Anderson, nice pass. Whoa! It's up in the air and out of the hands of Delpesh.
It's a phenomenal find, though, from Anderson to Delpesh, who just mishandles the ball.
Well, Newcastle looking for the final score here of the first half. Here's Peel. Driving all the way to the basket and laying it in for 2. And that will do it for the first half. And the Newcastle Eagles have cut this Sheffield lead down to only 6 going into half-time. And the way things were going in the early stages, when Sheffield had a 14-point lead, Newcastle will be reasonably happy with the situation they find themselves in.
I think so, Dan. They were so much better offensively. They looked after the basketball. 0 turnovers for them in that quarter. But what they were able to do is, defensively, they still weren't brilliant, but what they would do is they were getting the basketball inbounded as quickly as possible, and they were getting rewards there, pushing the basketball the other end of the floor.
Sheffield, really, I mean, the way they shot the ball early on, the way they were also able to get out in transition early on to be able to get that scoreboard ticking over. They had 29 points in that first quarter, half that in the second quarter, and not really doing it from the three-point line. You can see 65% from two-point range, getting things to the basket.
Yeah, they were, and I think it's part to a number of different players. I think Glasgow's been sort of putting those points on, but Jordan Martino's been that guy. He's been the one making not only baskets for himself, but good decisions on the offensive end, and he's even slowed down. He missed a couple of open threes there that would have been extended this lead for the Sharks.
Newcastle, we talked about the turnovers. Only 5 in the first half, having coughed it over quite a lot. And, the offensive rebounds, that's all about Duke Shelton, isn't it? With 5 of those 6 offensive rebounds for them. And that really has been key. That sort of kept them in the game when they were struggling a little bit. He kept things alive, and it gets them some second chance opportunities. You can see they've got 13 points off those, and let's get some reaction on the baseline there from Drew.
Hey, Rodney, you left Newcastle in 2020 with a trophy in hand. How does it feel to return back to the city?
Oh, man, I mean, it's my first home, you know what I mean? It's just a great organization, so it's, got some home feeling to it. Obviously, I know the rims and stuff like that. It's good to see Fletcher and Darius back and stuff like that, so it's a good atmosphere.
And a 6-point lead going into halftime. Talk about you guys' defense holding the Newcastle Eagles at 38 points.
We got embarrassed. Our last came from Chester, really. We wasn't locked in, so we just wanted to make an effort, really, to just key in on the main guys, really take care of the ball, rebound the ball, because, Newcastle like to be in transition, so we got to stop their transition to win the game.
And 8 points and 8 points and 3 assists for yourself. You were signed late. Talk about your role in this team.
My role is to come in and help lead with Aaron Anderson and Mike Tugg, be a playmaker, make plays, and then kind of set the tone on defense, kind of bring that veteran because we're kind of young, so we kind of need to mature faster and stuff. So I think that's why they brought me here.
Great first half, Rodney.
My man, yep.
Yeah, good first half for him. Solid first half for the Sharks collectively, but this one is keenly poised. 44-38, a 6-point ball game. Analysis and reaction coming next. Six-point ball game at the half. The Sharks lead it, but it may be Newcastle that go into the locker room they're happier in the sense that the way the first quarter went, Sheffield absolutely all over Newcastle, but the Eagles scrapped their way back into it, and Coach Mack will be very happy with that second quarter rally. Kieran Achara, Drew Lasker alongside me. Looking at the numbers there, Kieran, the Sharks shooting collectively pretty well, though not so much from the three-point range. We mentioned rebounds at the top were going to be critical, even Steven, in terms of the total number, but offensively, the Sharks, the Eagles have the edge there.
Yeah, the Eagles have just been, battling away, getting those second chance points, and it's all the Duke Shelton show. To be fair, he just energised this team.
Drew, we talked about the fast start for Sheffield, 29 points in the first quarter, and I guess the worrying thing about Newcastle's defeats this season, and admittedly they came earlier on in the season, they've re-upped, they've got stronger, but 111 against Manchester, 100 against Leicester, which we saw on Sky, 99 against Cheshire. It looked like we were on for another game like that.
Yeah, and that's one area that Newcastle Eagles had to address. It's the defensive end, and that's what Brandon Pill was brought in here to do, to help anchor the defense along with Darius Defoe. But as we see, he's not quite got that chemistry with those guys, but hopefully it comes tonight.
Time will tell on that one. Well, the reason primarily for the fast start for the Sheffield Sharks was Rodney Glasgow. We heard him chat to Drew at the half. 8 points, 3 assists. He talked about his role as a leader, talked about driving this young team, talked about the importance of defining the defensive approach as well, but it was going the other way where he did his real work in the first half.
Yeah, the Sharks has brought in someone that knows the league, and not only knows the league, he knows the team, he knows the system, and you see that mid-range shot right there and the floater that we've seen so much this year that he hit the game winner against Manchester Giants with.
set the tone, didn't he? And he talked about the young players around him. Jordan Ratino, very much one of them in the thick of it. He impressed us last season, Kieran, in its first year in the BBL, and he's impressing us tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I just love his movement. And you see there, you don't leave Ratino wide open for three. He wants to shoot the shot. So he got the rhythm earlier on, but as you see, he's so active. He's constantly moving, got such a quick release, attacking the basket. He's got a complete package because he's got such a good shot. It frees him up to get to the basket as well.
Smart player. Do you like his decision making?
Love his decision making, but not only that, I just love his cut. He's an efficient cutter. He cuts to score. A lot of players just cut because it's a part of the offense. He cuts to score, and I think that makes a big difference on this team.
Make it count. Duke Shelton, speaking of players making a big difference on their team, he has been instrumental, hasn't he, in the Eagles keeping in this dream?
Yeah, like we talked about at the top, he's a ball of energy. He's the guy that's willing to do the little things, keeping a hand on the ball, keeping offensive possessions alive, and hoping to get those points for the Newcastle Eagles.
Last time we saw Newcastle week 1 of the season, we worried about the strength in depth, Kieran, in particular points from the bench. They've got only a 6-point deficit here. Where does that sit for you? Do you feel that with the players they've brought in and how the season's moved on, that's less of an issue now?
Yeah, I would say so. I think they've got, like I said, they've got enough talent to hold the fort. But for me, you know what I'm like? I'm always getting back to the defensive end. When you come on the court, you have to be able to make plays, understand from a defensive perspective, understand the scout and do your role.
All right, more reaction to our game in a bit, but it's time for Plays of the Week, and I'm certain that Kieran Achara has been taking over the selection this week. Check it out.
Green trying to force it inside. Oh my goodness! Harris with the monster poster! Jam from Joe Dumney.
Tell New England Patriots to come get me. I look like Tom Brady.
And put back by Josh McSwiggan into the game for Cheshire Phoenix.
Reese is sticking with it. He's determined to take this shot. Gets all the way to the glass and scores. Then says the referee, come on, I was fouled.
Oh, Kofi Joseph's breaks his man.
Oh my days.
And hits the 3-ball McKnight, runs down the floor with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, let me go pick up his shoes for him real quick.
Harris is out in front. Oh my!
Wow. Correction, 2 Plays of the Week.
Yeah, the Kieran Achara Plays of the Week. The Glasgow Rocks featuring pretty heavily in that, although rightly so, Kieran.
Very much so. I mean, they put on a show. And I look at those plays. Kofi Joseph, great play, but you know what? Jordan Harris, spectacular dunks. Playing with a sore knee, actually, being hurt the last game. That was disgusting.
That was the disgusting play. I love the NFL nod as well. It's the kind of thing that Bill Belichick would do, isn't it? Grab a player, turn him to a tight end. He could be playing in the big leagues next season.
Yeah, but he has the arm, but I don't know if he has the body to take those hits in the NFL.
Very fair point. Shout out to Dan Ratledge as well, our comms of the week, I think, on some of those play calls. Right then, this one is fascinating, isn't it? We called it an intriguing matchup at the top of the show, and it's living up to the hype as well. Blazing fast start from the Sharks, but the Eagles have clawed their way back into it. 6-point ball game, and the second half is coming next. Welcome back to Newcastle, 44-38. The Sharks leading this one, second half about to tip off. Let's get back to Ant and Dan.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, a good finish to the first half by the Newcastle Eagles. Can they get a good start to the third quarter? A little step back, almost Dan Clark-like, as saw him hit one of them last night for Great Britain at that end of the floor.
Well, that's such a luxury to have as well. Input the ball to Brandon Peel where you can get your high percentage shot around the rim.
4-point game. Delpesh driving in, and Shelton is a shot blocker, and shot blockers commit those sort of fouls going after block shots.
It's like that dangling carrot effect. It's really, really hard. You know you shouldn't, but you feel like you can get it. And the issue is Duke Shelton gambled it slightly to try and steal the basketball, and Delpesh recovered it, and you're always at a disadvantage. You're always playing catch-up.
And as the terminology we use, will live, especially with Delpesh going with a running hook to his left, we'll live with the results.
Loud and proud, make some noise.
Johnson brings it forward. That's the 5 starting the second half for the Newcastle Eagles, and Brandon, he blew the layup.
Uncharacteristic miss from Brandon Peel as well. Maybe he thought that someone was going to come over and block it, or there was going to be contact, but he missed by quite a margin there.
Here's Anderson. Nichols. And he replies, very similar shot to the one Peel made a minute ago.
Really interesting decision, because I feel like off the original jab step, he had enough room there to just raise up and jump and shoot the original jump shot, but instead he elects to penetrate to the rim and make a really difficult fadeaway off the 1-foot jump shot.
I agree. He likes the degree of difficulty.
Sayers in the corner for 3 off the mark. Glasgow with the rebound, and the foul is called. Modern game, it's about what it looks like on the socials, you see. It's about the highlights.
We've always said that basketball is a very simple game. Don't try to overdo it.
And one man who's made it real simple so far is Ramon Fletcher. He hasn't got rewarded for it yet, but he beautiful pass inside to Brandon Peel, which he should have converted. And then Lewis Sayers, a guy in the corner for a 3-ball, that's his spot. So Ramon Fletcher finding his guys early, they just haven't been able to convert so far.
And I said to look out for the assist battle. Currently, Ramon is on 6 assists. Anderson's sitting on 1.
Delpesh with the offensive rebound and goes back strong for 2.
Good persistence there from Delpesh. Kipper Nichols again, a really difficult shot. Rearrangement of his body formation there to hoist that up, but Delpesh cleans up the mess.
Sayers trying to cut back door. That's a bit low. I think Nichols got a little foot on that. And that will be an Eagles ball.
Again, it was a good pass from Ramon Fletcher to the cutting Lewis Sayers. But Lewis Sayers wasn't able to put down the money for Duke Shelton.
I much prefer Fletch threading the needle than Louis Sayers.
And there is Fletch throwing a great pass again. And he doesn't get an assist for it, but Peel gets the points.
The frustration levels of Ramon Fletcher must be at 100 right now, because if I was him, I'd be fuming. What a great look to pass the ball inside of Brandon Peel.
Amazing look.
Here's Glasgow for 3.
I was just going to say Rodney Glasgow was a little bit quiet there. Up he pops with a big pull-up shot.
Peel going to work, hitting the deck. Rebound from Delpesh. Numbers here, 5 on 4. Coutinho takes it in to the rim for 2, and Coach McLeod has seen enough at the start of this second half. His team outscored 10 points to 4, and Newcastle down by 12. Call a timeout.
Where the Sharks are really dangerous now, I feel, is they've got Rodney Glasgow pushing the basketball exactly the same pace as Aaron Anderson. You see it there. You know, the spacing was good, but Rodney Glasgow, the whole time, he's at full pace and looking for a pass, and Routinho was able to split in between the defense there and finish the play.
And that's why I feel like the BBL has evolved over the last 3 or 4 years, having 2 dynamic guards, ball handlers in the backcourt that can push the ball. And if you look at Newcastle roster, who's that other guy that can push it and get a one-man fast break?
Well, it's a good question. I suppose you would...
The answer to the question is no one, Dan.
Yeah. I was throwing your alley-oop, Dan. Come on, man. Stretch those legs out.
What it led me on to is we've not really seen much of Person in this game at all. We've only seen about 6 minutes of him so far.
Yeah, I think Newcastle Eagles have figured out what exactly Persons is, and that's a bona fide scorer, hence why he's coming off the bench. He's proving he's not the type of guy you want to run an offense.
But the issue right now is that he hasn't been that guy off the bench or of anything, really. He's 1 point, 0 for 1, hasn't really looked to insert himself in the game aggressively anyway on the offensive end. So he's kind of an in-betweener right now. They're going to need more production from him on the offensive end.
Sheffield with a zone pressure down court. Fletcher, nice pass. Shelton off the mark. Peel trying to keep it alive, but eventually Routinho wins that battle.
And that's another beautiful pass by Ramon Fletcher that doesn't get rewarded. The Newcastle Eagles must start finishing below the basket.
Shelton with the block. When I was a young man, I used to do stats, and one of the stats that we used to keep for the coach were passes where they should have scored. So we would have an official assist number, but we would also have if his teammates had made the shot, this is how many assists he would have had number. Fletcher's number would be pretty high tonight.
Yeah, but I think when it's time to get a job, I don't think those other teams are looking at that stat.
but the players loved that the coach saw that.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout.
Ramon Fletcher would love that.
Yeah, he'd average 20 a game easily.
Here is Person into the game, and Williams as well. Williams' shot is short.
Phil Williams had a good little spark there in the first half. It was a period of 2 minutes where he came to life, and Newcastle Eagles will want him to have more of those periods in this game.
Fletcher in transition. Anderson fouled him and looked to the referee and went, are you going to call that foul? Because he's gone past now. I need you to call that foul.
I think a good foul there from Aaron Anderson. Smart foul. Because Ramon Fletcher in there, he's going to finish the play himself or give it to his teammate in a scoring opportunity.
Defoe with his strength off the ball.
Darius Defoe, nice strong move. He did the hard part. Just wasn't able to. It's really difficult as a big sometimes when you make such a strong move to then switch it to a finesse. It's a really unique skill, but probably you guys don't really.
I'm wondering if you did you? Did you have that finesse as well, his cooking side? You were out on that elbow all the game. Talking about inside. Shelton ripping it away. And he takes the foul, shoots in.
I really like the matchups there inside. Duke Shelton versus Bennett Cook, or Duke Shelton versus Del Pesh. Battled well inside.
And I know it makes you smile, Ann, because traditionally the BBL is known as a guards league. To see them be able to throw it down low, you'd be eating tonight, we would say.
I would indeed. And what a luxury it is for those guys. They've got guards, like Aaron Anderson and Ramon Fletcher. These guys they're point guards in that they can score the basketball, but they understand the importance of getting their teammates involved.
Friendly bounce for Duke Shelton. Newcastle now showing a little up court pressure on the ball. Nichols. Here's Cook. And he spins round and finishes off the glass.
It's a good no call there and a really good move from Bennett Cook.
I mean, Kyle Williams lucky to get a non-flop call right there. They might, when the game stops, come back to it.
Wow, he made no mistake on the other end of the floor. That's a really hard cut. No fear. Aggressive take to the basket. Nice finish there from Kyle Williams.
Ooh, Defoe's got called for a foul there. That's going to be his third.
Yeah, that's a difficult one for him to take there.
Another one of them where you see the ball and go after it. What says you, Drew Lasker?
I mean, it's a physical game. I'm letting that go. You want the best players to stay on the court. I mean, I'm not going to call a ticky-tack 50-50 ball.
That wasn't quite what your facial expression said. Slightly more diplomatic one. Here's Retino with the rebound.
You can't be telling on me, Dan. Come on now. We're supposed to be teammates now.
Here's Glasgow in. Nice pass from Glasgow to Nichols.
That's a really good find there. Rodney Glasgow again finding Kipper Nichols for the easy finish inside.
Retino not quick enough there to stay with Fletcher, commits the foul. Peel comes in for Shelton. Shelton 11 and 11 so far. Fletcher. Person cutting back door, and he draws the foul. And Bennett Cook is called for his third, I think.
This little backdoor cut there from Person, and Darius Defoe this time on orchestrating the offense. And that's maybe a play you finish if you've been a little bit more in tune offensively, because he hasn't had the ball a lot. You know, it's not like I'm criticizing him because he's 0 of 10, because he hasn't shot the ball. He's 0 of 1, so he hasn't really had a lot of opportunities. But that's a play that a guy in rhythm or with confidence, that's an easy finish there, and it's an and one.
And you see the frustration on his face, upset with himself for not finishing.
And seemingly upset with himself that he's gone 1 for 2 from the line as well. He's 2 of 4 for his 2 points from the free throw line. Glasgow has his pocket picked, and it's a heck of a dive there from Fletcher to try and keep that in bounds.
I like little plays like that too. That's your former 2-time MVP there, diving on the floor, doing whatever it takes. Plays like this should energize your teammates.
And that's a play where Monroe Fletcher is telling the guys, hey, let's go. It's time to go.
Williams running into all sorts of trouble, commits the foul.
Well, and here we go. But maybe that one play from Fletch, like you said, Drew, came over into the team's mentality, because they were going after that pack of wolves.
We call that a momentum play.
We talked about Person, but Williams has basically got the same stat line.
Yeah.
1 shot. He's got no points. He's only played 6 minutes.
Yeah, really valid point. He's a guy that averages 16 points a game. Sheffield Sharks leading scorer, and he's been a non-factor offensively in this game.
Well, if you notice, he came off the bench tonight, and one thing I've noticed following the Sharks over the season, he's a rookie, and Atiba typically has a short leash on rookies, so if he's not doing what he's supposed to do, he'll be out of there quick.
Tuck gets a hand on it, can't quite keep it in play, though.
That's a test of mental toughness as well. When you're a guy that's feel like you've been playing well, 15, 16 points a game, and then the coach puts you on the bench, it's not benching someone, it's just that he feels like it's a better injection of offense. Players take that personally, and maybe that's affected him psychologically here, and he's not had a big of an impact on the game as he has done previously in the season so far.
Well, it's amazing what coming off the bench can affect a player's ego, because that's everything to a player, being in the starting 5. Sometimes being young, you don't see the bigger picture.
There's Williams off the mark. The interesting thing is here he is in transition. John Williams, great finish.
Wow, that was a good play. And 1 in 10, 1 in 10 only. That was to get to the rim and score, and difficult reverse finish there.
Defoe got caught by Glasgow. Pick up on your point. The interesting thing about it is people, you know, we keep the stats, how many games you started and stuff like that, but actually the key thing is who finishes the game. That's when you really want to be in the court, at the end when the game's being won and lost. And we don't keep those stats, but those are the moments where the big players step up.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And like I mentioned, it's a youth thing, a thing you gain with experience. Over time, you realize the bigger picture and what matters most, and that's finishing the game, not necessarily who starts and who doesn't.
And a smart coach will pull you to the side and he'll whisper that in your ear too. I was a starter my whole career, and when we got to Leicester, we had a change in structure. We didn't play the typical 4-5-2 bigs, and it was an away game down in Plymouth. And Pat Osher brought me to the side and he said, "Hey, don't worry whoever starts, he's going to finish the game." And it kind of helped me in a way. I think mentally compartmentalize that as well. And you know, I didn't start, but I was there at the end of the game. So I think coaches can very tactfully or intelligently implant that into players' minds as well.
And it's a guy named Charles Smith. Not sure if you've heard of him before, but he won the MVP coming off the bench.
I've lost I would have a couple more trophies in the cabinet if it wasn't for that Charles Smith guy, I tell you.
Well, Drew Sullivan as well. Spent a lot of the back end of his career coming off the bench, but he was always on the court at the end. You know, if the game needed winning, Sullivan was on the court.
100%, and I can vouch for that. That was a guy that you would definitely want in crunch time.
And I still have nightmares from that 2014 Cup final where Drew Sullivan took over that game late.
That was one of the iconic performances in British basketball, the last sort of 4 minutes of that Cup final. He just willed Leicester to victory.
I love talking about those memories where Leicester win.
I'm just making sure Dan doesn't forget about the 2015.
Well, the Charles Smith Trophy final.
No, the Cup final. We're down 17.
Yeah.
Don't forget about us, my man.
The one that I went to was the trophy final where you beat Leicester in Glasgow, and Charles Smith just went nuts down the stretch.
Definitely a legend in the game.
$2:15 to play here in the third. 60-50 in favor of the Sharks, who have led the entire way here. Nichols. Last few seconds of the shot clock. Nichols hesitates, fires, misses everything.
So that's such a difficult shot. Kipper Nichols has been making those, but the hesitation, pump fake, it's really hard to kind of get a rhythm there after you do that. And that time Brandon Peel defended it a lot better. He was so much in his shooting space.
But the difference on that play is he was 2 feet back from the first time he did it in the first half, which makes a huge difference on a move like that.
Here's Defoe rolling to the basket, rolling back the years to throw it down.
That's incredible. That's a 38-year-old dunking the basketball there.
Wow. An 18-year pro jumping off of one leg.
Martino trying to squeeze that one home.
Such a smart play there, and Jordan Martino's been that guy all game.
And again, Newcastle quick down court for two.
That's what they are really good at. Ball comes through the net, they are already out to the races. Teams are going to have to watch out for that this season, because this Eagles team are really good at that.
Top. Anderson, top of the key, back iron. Oh, it's off Johnson's hand. Defoe with the hustle to keep it in play.
Wow. Old man looking like a young fella out there.
Johnson for three. Corey Johnson! And this crowd is up here in Newcastle.
And it's just one superhero play, like saving the ball out of bounds from your veteran, that can inspire. Corey Johnson knocks down that step-back three.
And this game is getting gooder and gooder, my friends. And the crowd is getting louder and louder, trying to inspire their team to one last stop here in the third quarter. Anderson, Ratino for three, replies!
Jordan
sucks the air out of the building.
He has been that thorn, that spiky thorn in the side of the Newcastle Eagles.
Big shot. He's got 4 threes and 20 points, and the Sheffield Sharks, who have led all game, will take an 8-point advantage into the fourth quarter. Can Newcastle come back and win this game? Find out with the fourth quarter when we return. Welcome back to Newcastle, where you missed Chuck a Duck in the advert break there. 500 kids throwing ducks onto the center of the court. And if you're wondering why, well, it goes all the way back to Nick Nurse, believe it or not, the Toronto Raptors coach when he was at Brighton, came up with this idea because he had a player called Randy Duck in the team. And came up with the idea to get him to buy a little duck, throw it to the center of the court, closest wins. It's a bit chaos, but it's entertaining. Next week we'll have to get our ducks in so we can throw. Here we go, back underway in the fourth quarter. Anderson, nice pass to Delpesh, who's under the basket and will score.
I'm thinking I'm gonna contact the Sharks marketing department. I'm thinking Kipper Nichols. Let's throw 500 Kippers in the fish. Got that shark theme going. I think that could really take off.
Here's Defoe. Nice. That's a trademark Defoe shot from about 17 feet.
Yeah, he stepped into that one. He's got better at that year on year. Yes.
That's a tough shot from Rizzolo. Here's Defoe on the baseline, heating up.
Oh, quick 4 points by the Newcastle Eagles and Darius Defoe. Good looking jump shot, and that forces coach Atiba Lyons into a timeout.
Well, that is just one guy forcing the other coach to do something strategically, and it's only his first time out of the half. Sometimes you've used them up by this point already, but you never know when taking a timeout away from the other team might be important later down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. With the capacity crowd here and the old foe, Darius Defoe hitting mid-range jumpers, getting this team inspired. The last thing you want is this place to erupt. A great timeout by Atiba Lyons.
And he's actually done it himself. I mean, we're talking about these two shots, but obviously he had the dunk, got everybody up, the hustle play, which leads to a three-point shot at the other end. He's single-handedly sort of changed the momentum. And, you know, it's a full house here in Newcastle. 2 nights in a row, because obviously it was full last night for Great Britain. They've really enjoyed themselves over the last 24 hours. They'll be hoping for a comeback here as they saw last night.
Yeah, absolutely. And who is it? The usual suspects. Darius Defoe now, but it started with the Ramon Fletcher diving out of bounds, keeping the ball alive, setting the tone to which we hope is a great finish here in Newcastle.
Newcastle with the pressure up court. Sheffield able to deal with it. Coutinho. That's off his leg, is it? Yes, it is, and out of bounds for a Newcastle ball where it looked like a dangerous spot at first. Peel recovered well, and Newcastle get it back.
And that's a guy that's made 0 errors tonight. Jordan Bertino has been that Mr. Perfect, and basketball's all about momentum, and can't help but feel the Eagles have snatched it.
And Sheffield Sharks with over their average on turnovers, averaging 10 a game. Right now they sit at 12.
Peel for 3. Front time bounces down to Nichols.
Oh, that was another one of those one shot away from this place, just absolutely imploded.
Glasgow steps into the 3, and what a difference if that shot goes in. It doesn't. This end, Glasgow knocks it down. Suddenly it's back out to 9.
That's the danger of having that guy who's been here before. Extra chip on his shoulder, extra motivation to want to hurt his former team.
Well, Person had snuck along the baseline, almost unspotted. But the long arms of Nichols just got there to deflect it out of bounds.
And I'm observing the body language of Rodney Glasgow. He looks like a much more confident player than when he was here 2 years ago. And it almost looks like a changing of the guard. He seems to be the vocal leader for the Sheffield Sharks, making big plays down the stretch.
Shelton, massive mismatch there. He gets the foul as well. We'll go to the line for the bonus.
It's a really good play there. It was designed for Duke Shelton. You can hear from the coaching staff there. Duke get down there, and easy mismatch and great positioning from Duke Shelton.
Well, he's another guy as well. He's very demonstrative, and the fans love to see that. See him flexing after he makes a play, waving him. That can inspire the crowd as well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more motivational. I remember he was down by 20 and he was still flexing. So I think you're going to get a consistent, high-energy Duke setup, regardless of what's going on the scoreboard. But no, you're right, Dan. In a close game like this, it's great for the fans.
Defense the cry from the locals. Delpesh, good footwork.
Huge there, and if I'm Duke Shelton, I'm keeping him away from that left hand, regardless of how many spins or fakes or whatever he wants to do. You've got to keep him out the middle, keep him off that left hand.
Williams. Oh, that's not a good pass. It's broken up by Retino. Retino runs it back and finishes, and 1 for Jordan Retino.
He has been phenomenal today, and it's great effort there from Kyle Williams, because he's lost the basketball there, and Kyle Williams has ran back all the way. Something we didn't necessarily see in the first quarter. But the energy to get back has caused him to foul, and Routinho for another point.
A few of them behind us, and certainly I think Coach McLeod as well, wondering if there was a kick ball in there. It did bounce off his leg, but it didn't bounce off his foot, and I think that's it's just a deflection if it comes off that high up off the shin.
Well, one thing Fat Florida used to always preach is no double negatives. Kyle Williams there throwing the turnover and then coming back on the other end, giving an and one foul.
Yeah, the phrase you used earlier, appropriate in that stage, you don't make things worse.
Once again, let's work together for that chapter. Defense for your Eagles.
Glasgow gets in, kicks it out to Nichols, big shot. Over the top and out of bounds. That could have been a real dagger there. Put it up to 13 on the shot clock buzzer, but it stays at 10.
Let's go once again. Make some noise for your Eagles. Make them fly.
Johnson for three, in and out. There's a fair battle away from the ball on the rebound. I think Delpesh has got called for the foul.
The scout of the Sheffield Sharks, I must say, has been superb. I can't recall too many open jump shots for Corey Johnson. Sorry, from the three-point, I can't recall too many open threes for Johnson or Sayers. They haven't given too many to this Eagles offense.
Shelton with the spin. Unable to get it in though.
Captain Nichols, good resistance there. Giving up a good 2 or 3 inches in height, but was able to body Duke Shelton enough to put him off.
Routinho has space. Oh wow, that was a long way short. He's not missed too many shots tonight. Oh, great hands to steal that away by Anderson to Glasgow. Glasgow lays it in, foul called, and a bonus shot coming.
Aaron Anderson knows what Ramon Fletcher's trying to do, and he gets that steal because he knows Ramon Fletcher's really looking to get to that left hand. It's only because he's already in that position where he can do that. Great individual defensive knowledge from Aaron Anderson.
And I've been impressed with Rodney Glasgow, a team in Sharks that doesn't traditionally run this season. He's been a big difference in pushing his team's pace.
There's knowing and doing, though. I know what Fletcher's going to do. I'm not going to be able to stop him doing it. We were playing one-on-one.
That's a prime example. The whole league's know what Fletcher's going to do since 2015, and they couldn't stop him. But Brandon Anderson, I have to say, has met his match on a number of plays.
Oh, Fletcher with a 17-foot shot from 19 feet there. Hence, it fell a long way short.
Well, he's had a really difficult time of shooting the basketball from the three-point line this season so far, Ramon Fletcher. Uncharacteristic of him.
I think Delpesh must have a cut. And the referee stopped the game to sub him out. He might be in trouble there. His coach is telling him to calm down. He's got a cut, which is why it's got to go out. Well, I think he's very fortunate there that the official closest to him is one of the most experienced referees in the BBL and is also one of the least likely to call a technical, because bouncing the ball like that could easily be called a technical foul.
But I like that from the referee.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Yeah,
you know, it's a passionate game. It's a tight game. Sharks, Eagles, and as a referee, you don't want to overreact. You want the players to dictate what happens in this game.
Yeah, a good decision there to have a word. Here's Glasgow for three, in and out. Cook trying to keep it alive. Johnson knocks down the triple.
There's a good job there to hide in between that screen that Duke Shelton sets, and all Corey Johnson needs is a little bit of space, and he can let it go.
3 of 5 now from behind the arc for Johnson. It's knocked loose by Fletcher. Nichols is able to recover. Foul called on Shelton, his third. Oh, and he obviously did say something, and he will get a technical foul.
That's tough. I think it's a tough original call. I am a neutral, and I didn't see the original foul there, and then I don't like the.
There you go. So it's on the swipe through, and he's got his hands in there. Yeah. Well, the reaction wasn't much, so I can only assume it's for language rather than for the sort of little wave thing. I don't think it's enough. But for the hardcore fans behind us, the juxtaposition of the no call and the call, a little close.
I would have to agree.
Here's Anderson. He strings the 3 and compounds the woe for the Newcastle fans.
4-point possession for Sheffield Sharks there, and Aaron Anderson, deep 3.
And Shelton on 4 fouls as well. There's Fletcher. Gets the level. Oh, Fletcher's come up hobbling. Well, could have even been on that, was it? As he initially went through, he seemed to stumble a couple of times.
Got it twice. It looked like again when he planted that left foot.
Yeah,
and that's a common.
Oh, and he stood on at the end. It might have just been Cook standing on his toe.
And you talk about the Iron Man that Ramon Fletcher is. Coach Ian McLeod makes a sub, and he's not thinking twice of getting him out.
That way, yeah. Well, in the first game of the season, there was that one where he looked like he'd seriously injured himself. He ran off into the locker room almost, and then he came back out. And I'm good.
Well, I'm not a qualified BBL coach, and even I know you do not want to take Ramon Fletcher out right now.
Absolutely.
Nichols trying to get it to Glasgow, and Fletcher reaching in commits the foul, and that's his second personal. They're over the limit as a team though, so it will be 2 free throws.
Be that 6th player. Wave your arms, stamp your feet. Loud and proud.
What an impact Rodney Glasgow's had on not just on this game, but the Shark season. Shot the ball 7 for 10 this evening, 17 points personal for him.
Johnson back to the 3, back iron. The throw's in there. Not a great foul there from Nichols. Didn't really impact on Defoe. And he's got a 3-point play opportunity.
Well, I quite like having Shelton and Defoe on court at the same time, just for the simple fact of the Sharks are going to have to work really, really hard to get any types of rebounds, because that was a good combination of Duke Shelton keeping it alive and Darius Defoe doing what he has done this game, making things happen.
Well, 10 points still separate the teams. 3 minutes for Coach McLeod and his team to find something about that. I think there might be a little spot of blood on the court, which is being dealt with, presumably from Delpesh earlier on.
Now Darius Defoe going to the free throw line now, Dan. We often say him being that X factor or game changer. He has 13 points, but I think when you look at things, he has a plus minus of +2.
Yeah,
they're down 10.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
It's always a weird stat, plus minus, because there's so much goes into it, but it's when you look at you know, other players on the team in double figures minus, and he's a +2 in 14 minutes.
+3 now.
+3. And if you're not sure on the plus-minus stat, it's basically the difference in the score while you're on court. So they have won by 3 the 14 minutes he's been on court. Here's Nichols driving in, Cook trying to tip it home, Shelton with the rebound. Here's Defoe driving in, finishing again, and a chance for another outward. Darius Defoe trying to drag his team back in this game.
That's exactly what he's doing, Dan. He's took it upon himself to make something happen, and I think Bennett Cook just needs to stay up there one-on-one, make him make a tough play. He's gambled, he's trying to get the charge there, but Bennett Cook has played in this league now, 3rd season. People know that he is that guy that's looking for that charge or that flop situation. Another good call by the referee.
Defoe converts the 3-point play. It's down to 6. Anderson trying to take some time off the clock here. Nice pass. Delpech trying to dunk it home. He's blocked from behind. Newcastle on the charge. There's something happened at the other end of the floor, but Newcastle's still going forward. Defoe again scores. Wow.
Activity everywhere, both ends of the floor, but who is at the other end of the floor scoring the ball? It's Darius Defoe. What a block on the other end by Duke Shelton to prevent that dunk from Delpech.
Defoe dragging his team back to 4 with 100 seconds or so to play. Anderson top of the key. Big shot.
Huge shot, Dan. Huge. And again, testament to Aaron Anderson's composure and professionalism, because that's a huge play.
Well, they're just going to wipe up the sweat from... There was a little collision underneath, and because the ball was going the other way, I couldn't quite see what happened, but something happened down there.
As we saw there, 10.7 assists for Aaron Anderson. Sharks floor general. Going up against the other floor general, Ramon Fletcher.
Here's Johnson. Defoe. It's a bit low for Johnson, and they turn it over. And Anderson runs out of the way. He wants to take more time out of this clock. Big defensive play this for the Newcastle Eagles. They knew to stop here with just over a minute to play. Anderson now looking to go. Got to go up. Glasgow. Not quite. Rebound Defoe. Fletcher spinning, and it's a technical for a flop on Anderson.
Wow. I think that's excellent defense from Aaron Anderson again. What does he do? He beats him to the spot.
Well, he probably was looking for it, I think is the way of putting it.
Yeah, he was.
And the referee was not happy with it.
Well, the point I'm making is he was there. It's not easy to do to stay in front of Ramon Fletcher anyway, but to beat him to that spot, very difficult.
Johnson, who is the designated free throw shooter for the technical, misses the free throw. He's normally very reliable, hence why he has that role. Newcastle have called a timeout here with 51.4, and the reason that missed free throw makes a difference is it takes it from 6 to 5, and then a score brings you to only 1 shot down. A 3 brings you to only 2 points down, whereas now, if they just get a 2, they're still 2 shots behind.
And it's the psychology of putting another point on the board as well, to come back out, and then the Sharks knowing that their league's cut into it, even if it's just at 1 point. And just to put that into context, Corey Johnson, a 92% free throw shooter, meaning every time he goes to the line, 92% of the time he scores. So a rare miss there, and the biggest of occasions, they come late in the fourth quarter.
Well, we're into territory, down 6, 51 seconds to go, where Newcastle pretty much have to score every time they get the ball. They definitely need to score on this one, because by the time they get the ball back, barring a turnover by the Sharks, they'll probably be high 20s left on the clock. This person stepped out of bounds. Oh, that will drive you nuts as a coach. Absolutely nuts.
Well, it happens, as we know, a lot in the league, but it shouldn't really ever happen in this period of a game.
Well, do they? No, they're going to play defense here. So they're only going to get it back with 20-odd seconds to go, 28 or something. They're hoping to be only down 6 at that point. Here's Anderson. Oh, that's not the time to foul. 18 seconds have gone off there, and then the foul comes. You've either got to do it early or play defense.
Yeah, that's the worst.
You can see there's his foot on the line from that last play where he turned it over.
Great call by the referee. It's just the awareness of the player. You've got to be in tune to everything, what you're doing, where you are, where your teammates are.
Well, 1 free throw, which Anderson makes the first, makes it 3 possessions that Newcastle need to score without reply. There's only 31 seconds to do it. And he makes them both. Well, the pressure in the ball here. There's a bit of a challenge to get it in. It's got to be quick. It needs to be very quick. Person drives in. He doesn't get it. The ball is loose. And the Sheffield Sharks, who have a winning record here at the Virtue Motors Arena, are going to move to 8-5 in this building as they, again, get one over the Newcastle Eagles.
Wow, and what a professional way to finish the game as well. And the Sharks, it went to their guys. They want the ball in the hands of Aaron Anderson, Rodney Glasgow, and those guys have seen this game out.
And to be fair, Sheffield have led the whole game. They've not been behind once in this game. Newcastle have had moments, they've had spells, they've had things where Defoe has inspired them recently, or what Shelton was doing earlier on in the game, but they've been chasing it all the way through.
Well, and that goes back to the first quarter, doesn't it? 29-15 against the Sheffield Sharks team, where I think is a top 4 contender here. So, whenever you are already down by such a large deficit, you're chasing the game, chances are winning the game are very rare.
Newcastle have called another timeout, but down 9 with 10.9 seconds to go. Well, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it's not likely to, put it that way. And disappointment for the Newcastle Eagles fans, some of whom are already making their way out. And it's a team that is still finding itself, Newcastle Eagles, and that's a challenge when you have the history that they have. People just expect them to just churn it out year after year, week after week. It is not easy to do what they've done for the length of time that they've done, and they're going through a few growing pains at the start of this season. And that happens, that's part of sport.
It is, and I think it goes back to, let's look at the short-term period as well. They haven't played in 19 days. But Dan, the first quarter it showed.
They were 18-8 down after, 4 minutes or something?
Yep, five turnovers in that first quarter, bouncing the ball off their feet, missed passes, missed catches. and that's really difficult to get your head around. So, I expect an immediate response from this Eagles team next game, next week, and, I expect it to be a lot crisper on both ends of the floor.
And what you've also got is the other end of the floor is a team that have been well beaten in the last couple of games, wanting to bounce back and wanting to show that they are that team that you think they are.
For sure, and I think a really mature response here from the Sheffield Sharks team. As you said, Dan, a performance last week that I felt was uninspiring. It was a little bit gutless against against Cheshire Phoenix, who I thought were the dominant team, but boy, is that a response. Sheffield Sharks, for me, are the most confusing team to understand. I don't know what I'm going to see. It's Kieran O'Chara called it, it's a Jekyll and Hyde. What Sheffield Sharks are we going to see? But this Sheffield Sharks, this disciplined, tough Sheffield Sharks can be extremely, extremely good.
Well, yeah, we have seen some of the best of the Sheffield Sharks here tonight, and they have shown that form that we saw earlier on, and maybe not in the last couple of weeks, and they will be rightly pleased. And he was really controlling 13.7 assists, but the way he controlled the game down the stretch to make sure that even when Newcastle got a bit of momentum, they weren't going to get close enough.
Yeah, they're good numbers now, but they're not jump out of the page numbers, are they? But what he did is control the game. As you said, his teammates got them involved, but he was just solid. Turnover as well, he looked after the ball, one turnover. He was such a solid, true point guard, in addition to his partner, Rodney Glasgow.
Well, another one who was really good, Jordan Rottino, with 22.6 rebounds and 4 assists. Let's get some reaction from him. He's alongside Drew.
Jordan, a 9-point win for you guys tonight. What was clicking for the Sheffield Sharks?
I think we just put it all together today. We've been working on coming together as a team, playing games for the whole 40 minutes, staying concentrated, doing what we do. We just talk about the little things in practice. It's the little things on defense, offense, playing at our pace. I think we controlled the tempo today pretty well, and I think that helped us win the game.
And you've been off to a slow start offensively this season, but you finished with a great stat line, 22, 6, and 4. How important is this performance for your individual confidence?
Yeah, it definitely helps the confidence a little bit. But I go into every game just trying to do the little things, everything that I do that helps the team win, whether it's rebound, defend somebody, whatever the team needs. And today my shot felt good. It was going in. And that's how I can help the team win today, so it worked out.
And talk about Rodney Glasgow's performance tonight, what he's meant for this team since he's been at it.
Yeah, he's since he's gotten here, he's been a big boost for us. Just his leadership, his presence, and his being able to distribute the ball in the offensive end and score the ball. So he's been good, especially defensively too. Talking, just another guy that's been around the BBL in Europe for a while, and just knows the game of basketball. So that definitely helps.
A great performance tonight, Jordan. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, spot on, Drew Lasker. That was a great performance. 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He was the heart and soul of this Sharks team tonight, wasn't he, Kieran?
Yeah, we talk about their offense being up and down, but, they got a good start. He got some good looks earlier on. Was 3 of 3 earlier on from 3, and that just gave him so much confidence. And I said, once he starts shooting the ball, you start playing him differently because you have to close out so hard on him. It creates gaps for him to be able to get to the basket. He was also stepping up, playing some solid defense, but like I said, he cuts, he's such an efficient player.
We talked about basketball IQ. It's something you and I were talking about a lot as we were watching the game, and he has got it and then some, hasn't he?
Yeah, you can see how well coached he's been, through his college days as well. He just knows the game, knows the plays in and out, and plays to perfection.
Seeing the numbers on the screen right now, when you think about the context of this game, the key narratives coming in, what we thought would end up being the key battles in terms of how this is going to be won and lost, what stands out to you there with those numbers?
Well, obviously we were talking about the second chance points. It doesn't really show up on this stat, but for me, they were shooting the ball well from 3 as well. They got some good looks, shooting a high percentage, and that opened up so many other things for the Sheffield Sharks. Yeah,
it was a strong offensive performance from the Sharks, led by Jordan Rottino. That will definitely be putting a smile on his head coach's face. And delighted to say that Atiba Lyons is courtside now with Drew.
Coach, 8-5 in Virtue Motors Arena. What is it about Newcastle where you guys seem to play your best?
I don't know whether it's just a good matchup for us. It's all about styles really in sports, isn't it? So some good battles here.
And talk about your team's defensive performance tonight.
something that's lacked for us the last couple games. I pride myself on having a strong defensive team every season. We haven't been performing well. We focused on it, and the guys bought in and did a great job tonight.
And 3-1 on the season. What's the message that's sent out after a great road victory?
Well, we got a long way to go before we give messages. We got to do it again. We haven't done it enough to be consistent enough. We have to be consistent in ourselves before we worry about anything else.
Hey, that's a great win tonight, Coach.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Well, there are a number of players that we want to talk about and highlight in terms of the Sharks' performance tonight. Let's talk Rodney Glasgow, first of all. Shooting laser sharp for Glasgow, 17 points. But it wasn't just that. 5 assists and 4 defensive rebounds as well.
He completely controlled the tempo. You talk about the tempo of the game. Glasgow had the way. He shot the ball well. He got to the rack whenever he needed to. He distributed the ball well. I just think he had a complete game tonight, and you could see he was playing with a chip on his shoulder. He wanted to prove that. He said it was his second home. He wanted to show that tonight.
He absolutely did that. In his halftime interview with Drew, he talked about the importance of leadership on this side, the fact it's a young team around him, Rotino, Kip and Nichols, young players. It's an interesting balance here in Sheffield, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. And what I saw from him today was he dictated a lot of times. I was seeing him, he was getting people into position. And you could see the frustration at times that players were out of position at times. He needed to be in the right spots. And I think that little bit of detail can change the whole offense for Sheffield Sharks.
And we expect to see that improve, obviously, as the season goes on, right?
Very much so. And, like I said, he's a scorer, he can score, but getting people in the right positions, it opens up the whole floor for everybody else.
All right, we heard from Coach Lyons. Let's hear from Coach Mack. He's courtside now with Drew.
Coach, tough loss tonight. Would you say it's the Sharks' defense that gave you guys problems?
No, they missed 3 field goals in the first quarter, and every single one of, I exaggerate when I say every single one. A lot of them were within the scout report. We talk about something, we watch the video, and we allow them to execute that same thing. It was a little bit naive. I think the first half they're shooting 62%. They played well. I'm not going to take anything away, but when we're not getting stops like that, we can't fast break. We can't run off makes. Well, we did once or twice, actually, ironically. But no, certainly defense, and we set the tone badly early with that.
And offensively, you guys are best when you're out and running. What's the key to the Eagles pushing the pace consistently?
Common misconception that we're best when we're running as far as fast break points. We're best when we're running to put defenses on their heels. Darius Defoe's 19 points on 7 of 9 shooting. I have to get him the basketball more. The coaching staff have to get him the basketball more in that situation. We were running off their scores. Then all you've done then is made it 2-2 in the last 10 seconds. We need to run more off of misses. That's when we're good. Anyone can run off of misses. It's the easiest thing to do in the world. I thought really once we recognised mismatches, which Darius did a great job of, that was the key to our offense, not necessarily just running up and down the floor.
And how much do you think 19 days off really affected you guys?
I think you saw in the first quarter for sure. But this is what we do. We're pros, so it weren't like we're partying for 19 days. I felt prepared. I felt we prepared the team well. We just didn't execute. I'm not sure how present we were in the moment. There's a few things that came from the sideline. I'm not sure how present we were in the moment on the court. I thought we did a good job, like I said earlier, of recognising mismatches. It was something we've talked about, but game situation, who's just hit a shot, who can't we give the next open look to, that type of thing we've got to be better with.
Hey, tough luck tonight. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Kieran, what do you think he meant there in terms of at times they weren't present in the moment on the court?
It's just it's a little mistakes. You switch off, and that's sometimes when you're getting frustrated. Sheffield frustrate you as a team. So they're hitting you. There's little slaps here and there. You're complaining about the referee, and you're switching off defensively. And those things you get punished for. So I think it's just those little breakdowns in offense and defense.
There were some positives for the Newcastle Eagles, not least the performance of Duke Shelton, Kieran.
Yeah, I love the way he played tonight. Drew said at the top, he's a player who just shows so much energy, and that kind of lifts the Newcastle Eagles. The problem with him tonight was he got into foul trouble, and that really kind of slowed them down completely, and they had no answer for that.
They were trying to protect him, trying to compensate, but 14 points, 14 rebounds. He could prove to be a significant player for the Eagles as the season goes on.
Yeah, he's that energy guy. Like I said, they need that lift. You need someone who's going to bring that, and Duke Shelton is definitely that guy.
All right, as you well know, every week, every show, we drop our plays of the week, and we also drop our plays of the day. The disgusting Kieran Achara, official trademark play of the day, goes to Marcus Delpeche.
Delpeche here, this was a really smart play. We talked about Rotino's IQ, got Shelton jumping, and bang, disgusting. That's the only word we can use for that.
And it's great, a great point in terms of Routinho, because we highlighted his shooting, his perimeter shooting as well, but that was a brilliant assist.
Yeah, playing with his back to the basket, seeing the mismatch, seeing him from a size perspective, backing down, sucking in the defense, and then all of a sudden, it's a dunk for Del Peixe.
All right then, every week we show you the plays of the week, every week we show you the play of the game, and every week we mic up a player to give you the sounds from the game. This week it was Sheffield's Aaron Anderson.
Kip, I can show you what I used to do about 5 years ago. It is for y'all. Oh, okay. Mike Tuck.
Hey, is this thing on? Mike Tuck checking in. Sky Sports, baby.
It works. Here we go. I stay ready, so I don't got to get ready. Enjoy it. We playing basketball. Enjoy the game. Enjoy it. We are right there from opening this up. What? What'd you said horns to 5. That sounds like horn side.
No, my bad. That's attack the focus.
Yep.
Early and forward.
How do we not got it? Come on, fellas. Here we go. Keep going. Finish it out. Come on. Hey, come here. Everybody. Listen, we got to lock in. And one! Let's go, J-Rack! Work. Not too much needs to be said. Way to grind it out. Let's be ready tomorrow. Come ready, focus for Leicester. Get 2 this week. Protect home. Let's go home happy.
On tonight's game, I'll give you the final word on the Sheffield Sharks, because we began the show by trying to assess where they are in the pecking order right now. And it's one game, and it's early doors, Kieran. But based on what you've seen tonight, can they put a title run together, do you think?
Atiba said it well. He needs to see that consistency. Right now, I've said they show the glimpses that they should be competing, but right now they haven't had the consistency. With leaders like Glasgow, Anderson, they can definitely put on that run, but they're going to have to show that. They're going to have to go out and improve it every single night.
Don't forget Tuck, otherwise we're going to get in serious trouble. Of course, it is a real combination of leaders and young raw talent coming through. It is, as we mentioned at the top of the show, an international weekend, and we wanted to wrap things up by reminding ourselves of that brilliant victory for Team GB yesterday right here at the Virtue Arena, 78-69 against Greece. Haven't beaten them since 1984. Huge win for Team GB, and they go again. What kind of test are they going to be facing against Turkey, Kieran?
Turkey, it's a hostile environment as well. I've played in Turkey. It can be intense, but the guys have got so much momentum right now. Let's just go GB, let's go. Looking forward to that one. Looking forward to reporting on that one next week, because we are back here. There's a lot of ball being played in Newcastle right now. We are back-to-back games, seeing the Eagles once again, taking on the London Lions. Another great BBL rivalry. Superstars on both sides. Cannot wait to get into that one. 7 o'clock on air, as usual, a 7:30 tip. But that is all from us here in Newcastle. Many thanks to the team. Congratulations to the Sheffield Sharks for a fine and solid performance. We'll be back, same time, same place, right here in Newcastle next week. We'll see you then. Bye for now.